I was recently asked a question, and at first I thought I had the answer, but the more I thought about it, the less I knew. And the question was, what's the difference between a blonde ale and a golden ale? Now, initially, I wanted to just say they're the same thing. They're synonymous. It's the same thing with Cascadian black ales and black IPAs. But then I started looking at some of the golden and blonde ales that I had around the house. They look the same, they're marketed the same, and even some breweries release one of each. This made me start questioning what really is the difference, or if there even is one. So in this video, we're going to be exploring exactly what separates the gold from the blondes. So let's start off with some definitions. According to the BJCP, they are considered an easy drinking ale with little to no primary or defining malt or hop characteristics. They should range between straw to light amber in color, low bitterness with a slight fruity flavor, and a low to medium body with a crisp finish. However, this doesn't really answer our question since the BJCP lumps in both blondes and golden ales into the same category. So if these two types of beers taste, look, smell, and drink the same way, why do different breweries call them different things? And even more perplexing is why would a single brewery release two similar beers under different names? Now, one theory is that they potentially share the same background, similar to that of a porter and a stout. We know from historical records that the porter came first, and over time, the recipe slightly evolved, causing the gradual divide between the two until they were solidified as two similar yet distinct beer styles. From what we know, the blonde ale seems to be the first given name of this style. It was a slow departure away from traditional European pale ales and kolsches, and around the 1800s, it took the name of sparkling ale and dinner ale, which slowly changed into just blonde ale, and has further evolved into names like golden ale and summer ale. But maybe like the porter and the stout, over time, the recipes changed, just like the nomenclature. They seem to use similar hops, water profiles, yeast strains, and base malts. Now, what I did find interesting is that in most golden ale recipes, I noticed a little bit of an extracurricular malt. I noticed some more wheat. I noticed rye in some, and I noticed oats in a lot. Whereas with blonde ales, they seem to be more focused on just an even split between two different base malts. So I don't really know if that means anything in particular, because it doesn't seem out of the ordinary for wheat or oats to be in a blonde ale. But that's something. So yeah, it's looking more and more like they are two sides of the same coin. But I refuse to continue on through this without exploring every avenue and looking under every rock. So let's take a look at a few more theories. There's an argument to be made about regionalities. It's known that as beer styles migrate from place to place, they slowly develop based upon local ingredients and processes. A great example of this is the drastic difference between the OG English IPA and the insanely popular American IPA styles. Perhaps as the blonde ale migrated across Europe, it took on some change that could help define it differently as a golden ale. In Belgium, there is a well-defined definition of what a golden ale is, and that is the golden strong ale. And looking at its stats, it does seem drastically different. However, when you look at its ingredients, it just seems like a big brother to the golden ale or blonde ale with some slight tweaks. So perhaps as the style migrated and regional yeast and malt availabilities changed, it toned down to be more suitable to the new coming locals and became what we now know and consider to be blonde and golden ales. But there just really doesn't seem to be that much evidence to suggest that this is true. Also, we kind of get into some weird existential shit where you kind of decide, is a golden strong ale a blonde strong ale? Can they be synonymous? Are they the same thing? I did a lot of research into blonde strong ale, and it showed a lot of results for triples, and that really kind of just complicates things and confuses the issue more. Or maybe it's just marketing. Maybe there's some reason why a brewery would think that a golden ale would sell better than a blonde ale. And unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot of reading material available on this subject. So to help me try to figure this out, I went about it in a multi-pronged attack. So I took to social media to start crowdsourcing what the popular perceptions of the beer drinking masses were. And besides some sexist remarks, I do think most people agree with me that it is just simply a marketing term. But I still wasn't really satisfied. I mean, there has to be some clear reason why a marketing team would want to do gold over blonde or vice versa. So I reached out to some of my contacts in the brewing industry and I tried to see what their insight was on the matter. So I reached out to a variety of different brewers from a variety of different sized breweries, and I posed the question: if blonde and golden ales are considered the same style, what marketing factors would influence your decision to choose one name or the other? The majority of responses pertain to either how the beer appealed on a sensory level, or what demographic were they trying to hit with this beer. And both of them made a lot of sense. It really does just seem that they are two of the same thing. When I first started this, I really wanted to try to get in deep and try to uncover the mystery, but I mean, all signs point to it just being the same damn thing. I even did a taste test. I compared a blonde and a gold ale, a Belgian blonde and a Belgian gold, and then the two from Mama Gang, and honestly, I could not tell the difference in a blind taste test. So, in conclusion, I guess I really do just have to admit that they are two of the same thing. I really didn't want that to be the case, because when I started it, I was hoping I could unravel some crazy deep mystery that would really explain it, but sometimes you just have to admit it is what it is. I will say that there did seem to be at certain times that there might be a difference in ingredients leaning towards one style or another, or how regionally they were brewed, but in modern day terms, you just have to accept they are two of the same side of the coin. That was a weird way to say that phrase. So thank you very much for watching. This video was a ton of fun to make, and I learned a lot, and hopefully you did too. So like, comment, subscribe, and remember, life is brewful. Keep on drinking on.